I have a few interesting things to show you about a strike plate. Okay, now here's a standard strike plate. I'm going to make sure I've got the holes stuck out in the right direction, because you may think, hey, what's the difference? Could I put it that way, or do I have to flip it around that way? Look carefully, and this is kind of contoured in to allow the flat screws to set flat. That's what I'm going to end up putting in. But you could put in a different type. You see this? Here, see? This one is a little different. Look at it. Now this, granted, it's not for this. There's a whole unit where the strike plate is actually taller. And then you would mortise this into the edge of the jamb a little bit further. Because see, right here, there's two big, huge screws here. And then your regular screws going to that go into the door jamb for your strike plate, just to hold on to that. Does that make sense? You could make it deeper too if you wanted. You could put this in first, and then you could put this if you want, so you don't see the pocket. So it looks all nice and pretty. Then you got to mortise it in that much deeper. Then you put your strike plate on there. The idea with that is it gives you more strength, more security. Because if this goes in here, you mortise it in, and then you use long screws for these, like 3-inch long screws, and those are actually goes through the 3/4 inch door jamb. Then you've got a gap where the shims are, which is 1/4 inch to 3/8 maybe. Then you've got the 2x4 behind there. You can drive 2 long screws right into the 2x4. Use 3-inch long screws, let's say. Okay, that would hold that in. Then your strike plate cover fits over that. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's a little bit more work. What's happening is when you put just a smaller strike plate in, let's see if you can see that, then we've got 2 little screws. Those 2 screws are all that's holding that strike plate there. So I don't care how strong the deadbolt is, your deadbolt is only as strong as your strike plate. Your strike plate is held in there with 2 little screws going into just the pine, 3/4 inch pine door jamb. You know what's going to happen? If somebody kicks this door in, it's going to take these 2 screws and it's just going to split this pine or Douglas fir. It's not even Douglas fir. What is it? It's more. Most of them are pine. They could be Douglas fir. No, they're not Douglas fir. I guess they're pine. Or they're even MDF, which is even more, not as strong, I don't think. It could be, but that could split out too. Or the little screws could bend out of it. This could just break off. You know what I mean? So there's your choices. And I talked to the owner, and she told me, she said, hey, for the sake of it, let's just put this in. She's not really concerned too much about security. I mean, she is, but I gave her the option, and she could put in that other one later on if she feels like it. There's a key down here, there's a key here. Now what you could do too is take longer screws, 2-inch, 2.5 inch, or even 3-inch, and run those in there. But what you get, you risk going right into the edge of the 2x4, between the 2x4 and the sheetrock. You know what I mean? You'd have to put those in at an angle. You could even take this strike here and run longer screws into there at a slight angle, run those into the 2x4. So that would give you added strength. So now you'd have 4 long screws going into the 2x4. That would be better than nothing, right? Now there's a few tips for you, but for now, I'm going to use this strike plate. I'll show you how to do that right now.